So I've been able to work with several parents, and I use a lot of fidgets in my classroom. And a lot of the times, the parents say, "What is a fidget?" I also give out fidgets during my conference sessions because everybody likes to have a fidget. A fidget is something, or what I consider something, that you just hold on to. You can play with it. Because like I know that whenever I'm sitting and learning about something, I have to doodle, or I have to keep my hands busy so this way I can still pay attention to whatever the speaker is saying. Sometimes with my students, though, I have a fidget that does an activity, and then after they finish the activity, they have to complete some more work to earn the fidget again. So these are my two main fidget buckets, and I'm just going to pull out a few of my students' favorites. What I think is a fidget might not be what my student thinks is a fidget. So what I do is I go to Walmart clearance aisle, and I find all the little doodads that might do something, and I try to find them age appropriate. But since these are items that are not played with all the time, sometimes they're not necessarily age appropriate, but they do have a little action that they do. You know, we all have the poppy tubes. It's kind of hard to do with one hand here. You know, but it pops out and you can pop it back in. That's one of my kids' favorites because it gets really long. But you know, too, if they're playing with a fidget, this one gets long and short. So you can talk about long and short. You can talk about the sound. It's really fun too, is you can make noises through the tubes. There's lots of different things you can do with that. This one is one that I got in at Party City a couple of years ago. Was on sale after Christmas. Yes, I know it's Christmas, but hold on. It sings, and if you push the button on the bottom, the battery doesn't work. Oh, there it goes. So you can have the student listen to that while he has a break, and then he has to go back to his work once the song finishes. Sorry, I had to let the song finish. Let's see. This is something I found on the clearance aisle, and I love everything Leapfrog. This probably actually needs new batteries because it is summertime. But you turn it on. Oh, it still works.
Presenting the word show. Push the talk button. It's red. After the beep, say something that you hold when it's raining.
So it's still actually very educational, but makes noises. You can answer the little riddle. And actually is very durable. It's been tossed around several times. Another super easy thing to find. This is just a little top. You know, a student does an activity, and then he gets to spin the top. You know, once the top is finished, oh, top is finished. Let's do the next work. Let's see. I have little guys in here. This is more just a handheld fidget, so if a student's working, he can play with it. Or two, if he really just has to have this fidget, you can set to the side, and he can do his work right here. And then here's the fidget. Let's see what else I have. McDonald's toys are fantastic fidgets, or working for toys. You know, this one just moves his arms. There's lots of them that talk. Here's, I think, another little McDonald's toy. It rolls. This is another thing that I found around Christmas time, and it's just a little wind-up toy. So the student does work and then can fidget with his hands, and it moves and moves some. This is one of my favorite. Just makes a great noise, you know. These are real popular too. These are tangles. Oh, as you can just broke. But it makes, if you have a student that needs to sit during a program or something, this is real good to have. They can just play with it with their hands. There's all different. I even have one that has textures on it. Don't know where it is right now. Here's another top that was a Sonic toy. This is a little bumblebee that, oh, let's try that again. He vibrates when he pulls his little tail, so it's a good sensory interaction. My students love these. Yes, it's a necklace, but it's fun, it's colorful. You can move it, you can stretch it. It makes great sounds. You can leave it in the hand. You know, there's lots of different because a fidget's all about the sensory that it provides, or at least in my class it is. You know, I have a cloth. Some of my kiddos just like to hold cloth. Like I said, every student is different. I have the little balls, just a little squish ball. If you have a student that needs something at the desk, it's going to be quiet. This is for any type of student. You can put Velcro on the bottom of their desk. I've heard of, I used to give some of my students silly putty, but you have to be careful with silly putty because it does not come out of carpet and it does not come out of clothes. So this is a kind of a fun alternative. But you know, sometimes you've got the real big fidgeter that will eventually tear into this. But like I said, a lot of these different little fidgets I have, they're very inexpensive, if not free. Actually, this is one I got at a conference, ePals. You know, when I go to different shows and stuff, different conferences, I say, hey, I teach children with autism. This would be a great goodie for my fidget box. What can you give me? And they're usually very helpful in helping out. These are little games that came up at Sonic. I think they're Sonic, they might have been McDonald's. I said the little things you can find. Party City has really great little 25-cent boxes. You know, just fun little fidgety thing. Hacky sacks. I actually found this little guy for $1. And he's been through a lot. Let me line him up. You know, yes, it makes a little bit of sound, but not that bad. So if you're that teacher that's looking for something that's going to be quiet in the classroom, another one that makes sound. But great, look at that pencil grip right there. These are really good. Your occupational therapist or your speech therapist usually has tons of little things like this because fidgets also are really good sensory toys usually, especially in my classroom. I said I have the things that for sensory needs for if I have a student that needs to have something in his mouth to be able to chew on, or needs something for his hands to be able to stretch his hands out, or needs the weighted vest to keep his sensory in place. I have keychains. This one's a little, you just push the button and it's like the popping sound, like you're popping bubbles. And like I said, you know, my students will find some of the most interesting things. This is something that they actually found in my classroom. It went onto one of the chairs, and it's one of this stays in my bag for when we have fire drills and stuff because it's one of their favorite things just to hold on to. They can squish it, you know, and it's actually really sturdy, which is really nice. So in other words, fidgets are just whatever your students are going to be able to work for or be able to hold in their hands so they can be more productive in your classroom no matter what type of learning ability they have. And what I do at the first of the year is, these are my 2 fidget buckets. So we have a couple of days where we just sit down at the table, I dump out these buckets, and I see what the students like. I see what they're going to, what they tend to go for. Because sometimes the cloth might not be a good sensory for one of my students because he doesn't like the feel of it. But he really likes the feel of the necklace. And these get put on the top shelf. They only come out when I choose for them to come out, so that way they're not just able to play with them all the time. And so that's my fidget bucket.